Good morning. We're going to start a tough one today. Kids don't like word problems for some reason. I get it, they're kind of challenging, but if you know the key words and you read them carefully, I'll show you a couple tips today about the words and the word is, and that might help. But nobody in the real world writes the math problems for you. So it takes some practice, and don't worry if you get it wrong. Just keep practicing and pay attention to maybe the correct answers, and that might help you get them right. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to turn words into algebraic expressions. So expressions don't have an equal sign, that's what we're going to start with. And then later on in the lesson, we're going to start putting equal signs in there, because that's what an equation is. That means you have an equal sign. And then we're going to end up today, and we're going to wrap it all up into one. We're going to have these ones that are called inequalities. So inequalities are these guys that have less than or greater than symbols, okay? And so we're going to do all three of them, because you should have been exposed to these in your elementary years. So they're going to wrap it all up in all three of them in one lesson here. All right, so let's get started here. We need some key words, and you've done enough math now that you should probably start to have some key words of what addition means. And so the words that we're going to look for is, if I have an addition problem, most of you kind of know some of these words, like I have the word sum. Sum means add. Most kids can come up with the word total. Okay. Obviously there's the word plus. Can you think of any other ones? Yep. More means we're going to be adding some more to something. And let's see if I can think of another one. There's more than this. Increase would be a good one. So if something was increased, that means we're adding something. And there are other ones, but there's 5 of us to kind of get us started on today. Subtraction would be, here's the big one, difference. That means subtraction. Plus, the opposite of plus is minus. I want to come down here and put that. Okay. Increase, the opposite of that would be decrease. So what I'm doing is I'm looking over here to the left. The opposite of more would be less than. I want to put D-E-N. Now, this is a big one here. I want to put this one, a star by it. So if I say something is less than, I'll fix this here, T-H-E-N. Now this is an important one, especially on subtraction. That means if I say you have 4 less than something, that means we have a number and the minus 4 comes behind it, okay? So this one, subtraction matters, order matters, okay? Or something like this, I'm going to put a star by this one because this is a tricky one. If I have something decreased by 8, well then that means I have something, and usually we say n for number, is decreased by 8. The minus 8 has to go behind it. So these two guys here come up often, okay? And a lot of times kids will get it backwards, that they'll write 4 minus n. So focus on that today, and let's see if we can get another one. We got minus, decreased by, let's just, actually, you know what, I'm thinking it was this guy up here. I'm going to put, let's just put subtracted from. I think this is the guy I was thinking about. If I have some number, 8 subtracted from some number, that means like this. 8 subtracted from some number. Decreased by 8. That one's pretty straightforward. This is the one I was thinking of. Put a star by this one, because this one and that second one down here. Because this one's in order. Some number decreased by 8. Yeah, that one's kind of in order here. This is the one I was thinking of, subtracted from. So if I have 8 is subtracted from some number, then the 8 has to come second. All right, so put a star by these. We're going to talk about these guys down below here again anyhow, but that's the two I was thinking about. All right, multiplication. Well, everybody gets the word times, so that's a good one. This is a big one. Most of the time now they'll use the word product. Can you think of some other ones? This is a very important one, so I'm going to put the star by this. Anytime I see the word of, and I see it often in Algebra 1B and you're further in your math, of always means times. So if they'll say 1/4 of 12, that means 1/4 times 12. The word of means times, okay? Here's some other ones. If somebody says twice a number, that would mean times. That would mean 2 times some number. I'm going to double it, okay? Or if they say double, well, I just said one, or triple. Sometimes you'll see those words. Triple would mean 3 times a number. I want to make it 3 times bigger, okay? All right, let's go to some division words. This is the big one, quotient. Quotient means division. I want to put a little dot and a dot there. So it looks like this, but when we do it now, I want to get rid of that dot. We use a division sign, so like this. That says 12 divided by 3. This is what now we use in algebra. Division like a fraction bar, okay? We don't use this guy anymore. It's too confusing, and then again, decimals and things like that. So anytime we have a division problem now, you're going to see a division sign as a fraction bar as we're older now. Okay? This one I don't see very often, but it was in the notes. Separate. Okay, I don't see that one very often. It's an E right there. Separate. Okay. Divided by, that's a big one. You'll see that one all the time. That means division. Half of, or 1/2. We'll say 1/2. Well, that really means 1 divided by 2, or 1/3. Really means 1 divided by 3, and we write it as a fraction, so there's a division sign there, okay? Can't think of any more off the top of my head, but there's other ones. All right, let's move on today, and we might add them up there, okay? Now, anytime I see parentheses, and we've done this before, I'm going to say times, and then it might say the quantity or the sum of something. It might say something like this. Times, I'll put an S there, the sum of, so that means sum means add. And anytime I see this, times the sum of something, we'll talk about this later on, I want to put this all into parentheses, and then whatever they want me to times it by, I want to put it in front of my parentheses. Or they might say something like times the difference of something. And then goes tell you what the difference between. Okay. These are the turnaround phrases that I mentioned up above. They call them turnaround phrases. These two guys up here in subtraction. Okay. So these turnaround phrases means something like this. Less than. So put less than. So that would be something like this. For less than a number. Okay, so the turnaround phrase means that whatever's here, if I say for less than a number, the for has to come after it. Okay, don't put those parentheses around there because that's over here, but that's what I'm trying to get at here. Or they might say something like this, subtracted from. And this happens in subtraction when we have a subtraction problem. We might say, let's put an example here. I might say 8 subtracted from a number. So this is what they call a turnaround phrase. That means the 8 has to come last, and we're going to subtract it from a number. Okay? So this is a really tricky one. So if you just kind of focus on it, you can get this. This is the one too that I was thinking up above that we put a little star by. Okay. Now, these are expressions or equations. Expressions don't have an equal sign. So if I don't see a special word that we'll talk about later, coming up here, then it's called an expression. Now, here's where our operation is a product, and we should all know that product means multiplication. Now, here's what I do. Wherever I see the word that's an operation, I underline it, and then I look for this word called and usually I circle it. So what happens is, whatever this operation is, it goes where the and word is. So if I don't know a number, and usually we say n, meaning a number, because that's the first letter of the unknown, and I want a product of a number and 3, that means number times 3. Okay, so we know by now that if a number's touching a letter, that means times, and we always put the number in front of a letter. This would look weird and confusing in algebra. So even though we know it's a multiplication problem, a number times 3, we put the 3 out front. So when it's together like that, order kind of matters. Okay, we're going to go out of the sequence of the sentence here. Now, when we say the difference between a number and 10, well, difference is subtraction. So there's my word and, so the subtraction goes there. Okay, so the difference between a number and 10, so n minus 10 would be the correct way to write that one. Okay, quotient, that means division. There's my A and D word. So quotient, the number, whatever comes before the A and D, that's your numerator. So a number, we don't know what it is. There's my division sign. We're not going to write a division sign like elementary school. And negative 5 is my denominator. So the quotient of a number, so it goes in order, number goes on the top, divided by negative 5. 4 subtracted from a number. Now this is that one that's like a star up there. This is that turnaround phrase. We have 4, and it's going to be subtracted from a number. So the way I think about this is I have a number here. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to subtract 4 from whatever that number is. Okay, so this is one of those turnaround phrases. There it is, subtracted from a number. The sum of twice a number, so that means we're going to add something. Sum of twice a number, so there's my word, there's my A and D. So that subtraction sign goes right there. Now, I have to do this part that's in front of my subtraction, so twice a number. Well, twice a number would be 2 times a number. Sum means addition, and then I have my 7. So you see, by circling an operation and then looking for that A and D word, then I just put it there, the sum plus, and whatever's in front, whatever's behind. All right, the product of a number and 10, product means times, it goes right there. A number and 10, product means times, I want to put 10n, not n times 10. Okay, a number and 10 increased by 1. See, kind of catching on. Look for that A and D word, look for the operation. All right, you try these two. I want 4 less than a number squared. Now that one's a little tricky, so let's see if you can do that. And I want twice a number divided by 5. Pause your video and let's see how you do. Alright, number 7. This is the first one where we have some parentheses. I want 4 less than a number, so there's my 4 less than a number, so that's one of my turnaround phrases. And then I want it squared, so that means you have to put parentheses there, so you're squaring the whole thing. That one was kind of a tricky one. I just wanted to see if you could do that one on your own. Here we have twice a number, divided by 5. Okay, so again, we're going to use that division sign as the fraction bar instead of the division sign like you had in elementary. We're getting rid of that guy. Alright, we're done with kind of whiteboard problems. Here we go. Now, we're going to go with the equations. Now, equations have equal signs, okay? And we have something on the left and something on the right. Now, here's the word that we're going to look for. anytime I see the word is, I'm going to double underline it, and that's where my equal sign goes. So then I want to figure out what's on the left side, put my equal sign, and then they're going to tell me more what's on the right side. So is my cue that there's an equal sign. The sum of twice a number and 10 is, so there's my is. Okay, now this is going to be nice and easy. I'll put my equal sign down there. What comes after the word is 36, so that goes over here. Now we have to write this expression up here. The sum of sum means add. Where's my A and D word? It's right there. So there's my A and D. So I need twice a number plus 10. Twice a number plus 10. Now there's my equation, and now I can continue to solve for n if they ask me to solve it. Okay? 3 times the difference of a number and 7 is 18. So I'm going to put 18 down there. There's my equal sign. There's what's on the right. Now I need to get the left side here. 3 times the difference. Well, this is going to be 3. There's going to be a group here because that's back up here to this guy in our notes. Times the difference. That's a parentheses phrase. Okay, let's see where we were. So I want 3 times, here's my operation, difference of a number and 7. Okay, so difference means subtraction. A number, we don't know what it is. Subtract 7. Okay, so we're going to take 3 times this whole thing right here. So this one's a little bit harder. Okay, 4 times a number divided by 8. So this is one of those phrases again. I want a number divided by 8 is 3. So I'm going to get my is 3 out of the way, so half of my equation's already done. Now I want 4 times, so it means times something, a number divided by 8. A number divided by 8. Okay? So these two here are a pretty tricky one because those are those phrase ones. We could have also, I'm just thinking about this one for a second here, we could have written it this way. It would have been the same thing. 4 times a number divided by 8 is 3. So I guess you could have written it that way as well. Same thing, because 4 times n is 4n. So either one of those would have been okay now that I think about it and read that more carefully. Alright, let's see what this one is. Number 12 here. I want 5 times the sum of a number and 6 is 48. So let's get that is out of the way. Now, I want 5 times the number, the sum, there's my word sum, of a number and 8. So that goes there. So a number and 6, I don't know why I'm saying 8, is 48. Now I want 5 times that amount. So that means it's one of those parenthesis phrases. I want 5 times that amount. So I think both of these they're looking for those phrase ways of parentheses there. All right, I like both of those guys. Okay, let's continue on. You want to give these guys a try here real quick? I gotta fix one of my notes here. Okay, and pause your video and let's see how you do on these two. I thought we were done with the tries, but let's give it a shot and see how you do. Alright, let's see how we did. There's my word of, which means times. Okay, so 1/2 of a number, so there's 1/2 of a number is, here's that 8 less than a number, so this is that flip-flop one. 8 less than a number. I don't know what the number is, but I want to be 8 less than it. So how'd you do on that? You could have put this guy around parentheses too. That would have worked as well. 1/2 times n. Most of the time we just put 1/2 n. The product of a number, n, so product means times. It goes right there where the n is. So a number and 3. So that means n times 3. But we're going to write 3 n's. is, there's my equal sign. Now we're getting more of these guys on the right hand side. Is not just a number all by itself. We have more words here. The same as a sum, so sum means addition of that number and 6. So sum means add, so the number plus 6. We don't know what the number is. If they said the number's 2, now I'm going to put it here, but I'm also going to put it here as well, okay? 15 decreased by the quotient of a number, and 3 is 20. There's my word is, so there's the 20. Now, 15, that means I started out with 15, decreased, there's my minus sign. Quotient of a number, well, there's my operation. Here's my A and D. Quotient means division of a number, so there's my number, divided by 3. Number divided by 3. Take some practice, okay? Here's that guy, what do they call them, switcheroos, turnaround phrases. So I want 4 less than something, so that means I have something over here, and I want 4 less than. So here's the something. Product means times, there's my A and D word, of a number and 7, so that means 7 times a number, there it is, there it is, 8 more than that number. So I want 8 more than the number that they're telling me, okay? All right, if you put 8 plus n, your answer is not saying what the words is, but it still would not affect your answer when they say what number to plug in for n. 2 plus 8 is the same as 8 plus 2, okay? But we're trying to translate these words into a math problem, so it's kind of a sticky situation there. We got to put it in the order that the words say, okay? All right, let's go to the inequalities. For some reasons, kids really struggle with these guys. The word less than looks like this. That's a less than symbol. And then if we have less than or equal to, we have a sign that looks like that. Greater than goes the other way. Greater than, and you read from left to right, and so the way I remember these two is if I'm reading from left to right, I get to the smaller side of the inequality sign first, so that's less than. And if I'm reading from left to right, I get to the bigger side and then it's smaller, so greater than. Okay, or greater than equal to. Now here's a couple phrases that might help you in some word problems here. If you said no more than, that means it's a less than. So if I have a number, I don't want it no more than something. So if I said you are no more than 6-year-olds can go on this ride, well then 6 is going to be my highest, and everything on this side has to be less than. So if I see that no more than, that means I want to be using the less than sign, okay? On this one, some key phrases are at least sometimes. You'll see that. So if I say you have to be at least 13 years old, well, the 13 is going to go over here, and any number that's bigger than 13, you're allowed to go to the movie. So if you're allowed to go to PG, you must be at least 13 to go to PG-13. Well, a 13-year-old can go 14, 15, 16, and so forth, okay? So if they say at least, I want to be using the greater than. Another one that comes up is no less than. Okay, so that means I want this number over here to be greater than whatever they say the number is. You can be no less than 13 to go to PG. Well, that means it has to be greater than, okay? So these are a couple key phrases that might help you as well. Most of the time I go right in order that it says a number is less than, so a number is less than negative 10. Now, they didn't say less than or equal to, so I don't want that little line underneath it. So if I had a negative 10 here, well, that would not work because that's exactly negative 10. But if I had negative 11, negative 12, negative 13, lots of answers are less than negative 10, okay? So more than one answer when we have inequalities. Here we have a number is less than or equal to 8. A number is greater than or equal to -4. A number, now here's that, at most 45. So that means this number has to be smaller than 45. So no more than or at most. So I want to put that over here. At most comes up sometimes. So that means this number has to be less than or equal to 45, because you could be 45. At most 45, so 45 would still make it a true statement. So that number is at most 45. I like that one. Can't go over 45. A speed limit. Now we got to do some higher level thinking. It says you try, but let's do these guys together. So I want to put N for number, and if the speed limit is 55, well, that means you can't go over 55 miles per hour. So anything that's less than 55 miles an hour works, and your allowed limit means you can go exactly 55, but not over 55. Chancing a ticket, okay? A number is at least 16. So I kind of think about it. At least 16, that means these guys could be 16. So I'm going to have the or equals to, and if you have to be at least 16, well then 16, 17, 18 would work, because anything over 16, you must be at least 16, so it's going to be a greater than sign. Okay, and we have that up at top too, that at least things is a greater than. A number is no less than 10, so that means we can't have any numbers less than 10. So that means these guys over here have to be more than 10. Now, do I want the or equal to no less than 10? Yeah, we could have 10, still be okay, just can't be less than 10. A number is no more than 26. So there's my number over here. So this guy can't be over 26. So everything here is less than. Now I want to know if I want the or equal to sign. No more than 26. So yeah, 26 will work. Alright. It just takes some practice. Okay? No more than. Alright. Let's see if we got them all right. Yep. Same answers up there. Looking good. All right, I think we got two more. A maximum of 25. The max number of 25, so that means 25 is over here, and we don't want to go over 25. 25 is our maximum. So I want the less than, everything less than 25. We don't want to go over 25, and can we have exactly 25? I do believe so, because it says a maximum of 25. So anything less than 25 and including 25 would work. And minimum means you have to be at least 5. So that guy's going to be a greater than. All these numbers on this side have to be more than or equal to 5. So the inequality ones are kind of tough ones. But just keep practicing, and you'll get the hang of it. All right, let's see. So let's see, we got like 12 problems today, a little bit more, 20 problems. All right, focus on using your notes. This is a tough one today, but we got to be able to write the math problem correctly from words, and before we can even use order of operation and solve for these letter ends or variable ends. With that, I think we're going to call this a day, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.